and welcome once again to Scorpion Cigar Reviews. Today I will be reviewing the Quorum. This is an all Nicaraguan cigar. I don't remember all the particulars on it. It is a handmade Nicaraguan cigar. Relatively inexpensive. This is a Robusto size. I think they're right around $3. I've had this one in my humidor for just about a year now, and this is the last of my Quorums. So, band slides off nice and easy. General tobacco scents, a little bit of various grasses, dried grasses on the wrapper. The foot has a little bit of cedar, some other various spices. Once again, some hay and some other grasses. Nice construction, firm. You can see where there's some stems that are kind of poking at the wrapper. Tight, visible seams. Double cap. These are smoked a lot of these. It's a good budget cigar, good handmade Nicaraguan. The pack is nice and firm, just as it should be. Not so firm that it's brittle, but it's a good firm pack. Slight bit of sponginess to it, just like it should be. So I'll get it cut up. Alright. Pre-draw. Some nice spices there. Cumin. A little bit of slight hint of chili powder maybe. A little bit of leather in there. Very pleasant cigar, really is. And honestly, for the price of, gosh, I think it was just under $3, to tell you the truth. It's a good value for these, real good value. I'll be pairing it with a blended Scotch whiskey that I had previously discarded. I've had a few drams out of the bottle already, as you can see. However, I don't disregard a bottle so soon, because as it opens up, gets a little air into it, the flavors change, it opens up, and they often become a lot better than your initial impression from when you first opened the bottle. Such was the case here. I've already poured the glass. I wasn't originally going to review it. In fact, I wasn't originally going to drink it with this cigar. Well, I thought, what the heck, I'll see how it's coming along. It's been open for a little while now. Real nice banana on the nose. A little bit of nut bread. A little bit of chocolate in there. These are all scents that I hadn't picked up previously when I first opened the bottle and had a few drams out of it over the last couple weeks. It's actually developing rather nicely. This is bottled at 40%. Taste a little bit of oak. ever so slight hint of peat. I hadn't picked up the peat earlier on in some previous tastings of this. I'm going to add, not quite a full teaspoon of water to it. Give it a little swirl. I'm going to set it down for a little while, cover it up, and we'll go ahead and get this cigar lit up. May have snipped off a little bit too much. The cap is coming undone there. Alright. This is a slightly box pressed cigar. As you can see, it's a little bit squared off there. As I mentioned, this is my last Quorum in my humidor. I may regret that it's my last one. I may be purchasing more of these. We'll see. Palate's been changing. I've gone back and forth. I've liked everything from the real strong triple Lajero cigars down to you know, just other types of cigars. You know, not necessarily quite so strong like the Lajero leaf would give you, but I've liked everything in between. I've tried a lot of cigars, and as my taste changes, I move towards those types of cigars. But it's always nice to revisit one that you've had before and it may be discarded as a regular smoke for yourself. We'll see. Good medium body right off the bat. Some pepper, black pepper. Maybe a slight hint of glue in there. Okay, well, we'll get somewhere into the first third and we'll see what happens. Here we are, early on in the first third. Burning a little bit uneven, but not too bad. Nice crisp burn line, even though it's a little bit wavy. I was picking up early on almost like a soap, almost like a bubble bath aftertaste that kind of lingered a little bit. That's kind of going away now. A little bit of pepper in there. Still very slight, subtle hints of that bubble bath. It's not bad. It's not putting me off at all. Just I find it a little bit odd. I don't remember ever having that bubble bath character to this cigar before, or any cigar for that matter. It's picked up in strength a little bit. It's still in the medium body range, but a little bit higher up in the medium body now. A little bit of a dry smoke, not too terribly dry, but it's definitely dry. Okay, I'll get into the second third and we'll see how it progresses. Here we are, just starting into the second third. Ash is holding on nice and tight. It's a good 1.5 inches or so worth of ash there. Nice long ash. Holding on just fine. Burn is remaining slightly uneven, but still nice and crisp. It really hasn't changed any. It's been burning this way the whole time. I might go ahead and flick this off. It came off nicely. Picking up a little bit of maybe some parchment. Black pepper on the retrohale. That bubble bath flavor seems to be gone. As for the House of Stewart blended Scotch whiskey, picking up a little bit of citrus on the nose. A little bit of, you can kind of pick up the sea air, the salty sea air in the taste. So we're, close to 15 minutes into the cigar. So I'll come back with an update into the final third. See how it progresses from there. Went ahead and added another, about half a teaspoon worth of water to the whiskey. It has almost a creamy scent. The way it feels going through your sinuses. Creamy on the back of the palate too when you taste it. For a moment there, I thought I picked up a slight hint of perhaps a rye in there. It says that this whiskey is a blend of Highland and Lowland, Islay, and Speyside whiskeys, aged for 36 months. So, yeah, there's quite a range in there. A little bit of seaweed and salt water. It's actually a little more complex than I had originally got from this when the first few times that I sampled this. And honestly, at what did I pay for this? I think it was $10, $10 or $11 for a 1 liter bottle. So this is a very inexpensive whiskey. Initially, from the first couple drams that I sampled on this, I thought, this will be something that you could use as a mixer, blend it with something, whatever, some type of whiskey drink. But yeah, you give it a little more time. Take a few drams out of it, let the air get to it, let the air mix in the bottle. Add a little bit of water to it, a teaspoon or so, into a dram, and it really opens up, picking up some real nice flavors. I'm actually quite happy with this, surprisingly happy. Just goes to show that $10 whiskey and a $3 cigar aren't necessarily a bad thing. Just goes to show you don't have to spend a lot of money to have an enjoyable drink and enjoyable smoke. These Quorums are quite well constructed. I've never had any issue with them splitting, falling apart, tasting off, or anything like that. I've never had any issue with these Quorums, and $3, under $3 for a Robusto size, that's a really good price point, really good price for a budget cigar, and for what you're getting. Same thing with the budget whiskey. And, you know, it's authentic Scotch, imported Scotch whiskey, so it's not like you're getting, you know, junk. So yeah, I'm real happy. The cigar, well into the second third. Picking up slight hints of leather. Ever so slight bit of barnyard. Real subtle. Definitely getting the pepper kick on the retrohale. It's really quite a pleasant smoke. So I'll continue on and come back with another update well into the final third, maybe approaching the nub, somewhere in there. Not a whole lot going on. The flavors are real subtle, pretty short on the finish, but not at all a bad smoke. So I'll be back. So you might say, hey, the settings changed. And you're right, it has. It was getting a little dark back in the corner there under the porch. It's not raining at the moment. But the sun's starting to go down and it's still quite cloudy. So I moved out into the open, tried to get a little more light. Here we are, just entering the final third. Starting to pick up a little bit of maybe some mineral. A little bit of earth. Very slight, very subtle hints of leather. So it's quite pleasant. Picking up a little bit of overripe banana in the whiskey. So things are progressing quite nicely. It's always nice when you're picking up new flavors or maybe an existing flavor that has somehow transitioned to another stage. Like early on it was a fresh banana in the scent, and now I'm picking up overripe bananas in the whiskey. Cigar is progressing nicely. Started off with not a whole lot of character. The flavors are changing. Picking up some new flavors like the mineral is kicking in now. Had a slight hint of Flint in there for a very short while. Generally I don't like Flint, but in small, subtle quantities it can be quite pleasant, and that's what I picked up from this Quorum. Starting to get a little cool out. It's been damp and raining all day. Sun's going down. Not a real pleasant day, but that's a good tribute to this cigar with as damp as it is. I mean, you're talking at or near 100% humidity as it's been raining and cloudy and cool and damp and, you know, all day. Haven't had any issues with the cigar trying to go out. A little bit wavy, but I haven't had to correct it yet. It's been you know, holding up nicely. I've had expensive cigars that just would not burn in the damp air, so it's nice to have a inexpensive cigar that holds up and surpasses the expensive cigar. It kind of makes you have to rethink what you spend on cigars, or on whiskey for that matter, or any other drink. There was a time when I thought, hey, I make really good money. No reason why I can't buy expensive whiskeys, expensive cigars. But expensive doesn't necessarily mean better. Now that I don't make the money I used to make, it's rather joyful to sounds silly. It's rather joyful, Mr. Rogers. I'm an idiot. Anyway, it's nice to know that you can still enjoy less expensive whiskeys, less expensive cigars. You don't have to say, hey, I like the expensive stuff, and I don't make the money that I used to. What am I going to do? Look at something less expensive. It doesn't mean that you're not going to enjoy it just as much or more. So, I'll continue on into the nub. I've been smoking this for over 30 minutes now, and I'm well into the final third, but there's still a good amount of cigar left here. So unless something goes tragically wrong, I will smoke this into the nub and maybe be pleasantly surprised by some outstanding flavors in the end. We'll see what happens. I'll be back. One other thing I'd like to mention, I keep forgetting to mention it when I come back to the next section of the cigar. Generally, I smoke one cigar during the course of the day. Occasionally I'll smoke two. Rarely do I smoke three. I find that I'm usually not up for another cigar. And certainly not back to back, which was the case here. I had previously recorded a review of a Camacho pre-embargo Corojo wrapper cigar, and maybe because that was more towards the mild to medium body, maybe that's why I was able to enjoy another cigar immediately. One of more strength, fuller bodied. So that's really a testament to the cigar to be able to take someone that normally doesn't smoke cigars back to back and still be able to enjoy the second cigar immediately after smoking the first one. So, good cigar. And I think it's starting to rain again. I might have to move back under the porch, but we'll see what happens. We'll give it a few minutes, and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm approaching the nub. The rain's starting to pick up a little bit. I'll go ahead and end this here. And then I'll move back under the porch and smoke this down through the nub. End this review saying that the Quorum Robusto, real good, budget, handmade Nicaraguan cigar. Put out flavors of a little bit of barnyard, a little bit of mineral, a little bit of leather, a little bit of spice in there. For the money, $3 or less. Real good cigar, especially for the money. As well as a budget imported Scotch whiskey, House of Stewart, blended Scotch, $10 for a 1 liter bottle. Once again, budget cigar, budget whiskey. Both very good, especially for the price. So I thank you for once again watching Scorpion Cigar Reviews. See you next time.